Welcome to this Tzaddi Spirit Gathering teleconference, and thank you so much for joining us tonight, which is January 19th, 2021. My name is Reverend Peggy Malnati, and I'm in the Detroit area. And during our call, we're going to do a guided meditation to visit a lost, ancient temple in the Himalayas. We're each going to meet an ancient elder, and that elder is going to give us some information about what the coming 12 months hold in store for us personally, and possibly some general information about what it holds for humanity at large, or the planet at large. And before you leave, you'll be given a spirit guide that will stay with you for the whole year and possibly longer, and will help you with whatever is up for you in the next 12 months. And so everybody's ready with their pen and paper. And if you don't have pen and paper, you can just set your intentions that you'll remember exactly what you need to remember. Just a reminder that we're recording this call, and so that people who couldn't be here live will be able to listen to it anytime during the next month. And it'll be available 24/7. I'll give you information at the end on how you can log into it in case you fall asleep and don't catch all of it, or in case you like it and you think somebody else could benefit from it. You'll know how to give them the details so they can dial in. I'm going to ask everybody to help us keep the recording quiet of background noise. I'm going to ask you to either press your phone's mute button or *6, and *6 will both mute and unmute your voice. We're going to use a virtual talking stick, and I believe all of you know how to use it, but just in case somebody listens in later and isn't familiar with it, you'll indicate when you want to speak by saying, "I'm picking up the talking stick," and then you'll say whatever it is you need to say, and then you'll say, "I'm putting down the talking stick," or in my tradition you would say, "Aho," and that lets people know that then they can talk as well. I always like to let people know what we're going to do and kind of the general order of things. So we're going to start with brief introductions, and I'll ask that you give your first name, your general location, and what you hope to get out of tonight's call. Why were you drawn to attend? I'll do a quick calling in of energies to support our work. Then you can sit back or lay back, and we'll begin the relaxation process, which will roll right into the meditation. And the guided meditation will last 15, 20 minutes. It depends on what my little invisible people have in store for us tonight. 5 minutes before the meditation is going to end, I'm going to ring this bell. And in case you're in the middle of a really interesting discussion with your teacher, your elder, that'll be your warning sign that you need to get things wrapped up. And if you don't have your new spirit guide at that point, you'll ask the elder to make sure you get it before you have to come back. And then once you return, I'll give you 5 minutes to jot down notes in case you aren't somebody who can take notes as you meditate. Then we'll do a brief sharing, again using the virtual talking stick, and I'm going to ask people to focus less on deeply personal information and messages, and more on information that would be of interest to this group, the church, humanity at large, the planet. Then we'll do a checkout. We'll do a one-word description of how you feel as you're leaving the circle. I've got a couple closing comments to make, and then I'll ask for a short blessing, so I'll put that out now. Maybe you would be the person who would like to step forward and give the blessing at the end. Any questions? Okay. So let's get started with brief introductions. Please, again, pick up the talking stick. In fact, I'll do it first. I'm picking up the talking stick. I'm Peggy. I'm in the Detroit area, and I'm really glad to be able to share this meditation with you tonight. I was gifted this from Spirit 20 years ago, and it's always a very interesting journey, you could say. And in my circle, we typically do this at year's end as we kind of prepare for the new year. I'm putting down the talking stick.
Hello, Picking Up the Stick. It's Catherine here in New York City. I'm looking forward to tonight's session, especially the enjoyment and power of being part of such a wonderful group mind. Thank you so much. And putting down the stick.
This is Diane in Annandale, Virginia, 16 miles from Washington, D.C., and I'm looking forward to joining the group on this journey also. And my intention is just for clarity on next life steps that would support me and my service. Thank you.
Picking up the talking stick, it's Veronica in New York City, and my intention for this evening is to gain as much support from the universe as possible to assist in the new direction that my life has taken by my own choice. I put down the talking stick.
Hi, everyone. This is Ken, and I'm coming to you from Northern California. Look forward to joining the group in this travel into the other realm and to listen for what is in store for the humankind and myself in the new year. God bless. Putting down the stick.
Okay. So now I'm going to be doing a quick calling in of the energies, and as I'm calling in the energies that I work with, I invite you to feel free to call in the protective, supportive energies, the ascended angel or the archangels, the ascended masters, what have you. Is somebody joining? Nope. The ascended masters and whoever you work with, just silently invite them in to support this work tonight. Oh, Creator, Earth Mother, Father Sky and the Star Nation, Wabin, Shaunadisi and Mouse, Majikiwas, Wabus, Spirit Keepers of the elements of Earth, Water, Fire, Air, and Chi. The seasons of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The clan grandmothers and grandfathers of Earth and Sky, our own guides, angels, and masters. Please be here and help support us tonight in this work. Okay, so I would invite you to either sit with your back straight or lay down. And we're going to start breathing deeply. We'll start with the fire breath. We'll breathe in with our nose. We'll breathe out with our mouth, kind of in a circle. And as you breathe deeply, try to make each breath a little bit longer than the last one. And roll your shoulders, kind of try to stretch out your legs, your arms. Try to get all the crunchy spots that you didn't even realize were tight. Do a few more breaths where we're breathing in with our nose and out with our mouth. And then you can return to normal breathing, whatever that is for you. We're waking up in a very tiny village of only a few dozen small houses in a valley between two huge mountains in the Himalayas. We spent the night with families in this village, and we're going to climb a path to visit an ancient temple that's been lost to time. Not many people on the planet know about this temple, but it's been here through all the great ages of this planet. And it's tended by members of this village who keep the pathway swept and cleared. and they bring food and offerings to the monks and nuns that maintain the temple. And these gracious villagers host people like us who come here. So as we wake up, we're going to quickly dress. We're going to thank our hosts and hostesses. We're going to offer them a little gift. And you reach into your pockets or into the satchel you didn't realize you were carrying. There's some regionally appropriate money in your pocket that you can give to them as a gift, a little green energy to help them. They have hard lives. They work very hard, and it's very nice of them to host us and give us a place to stay. So you're going to gulp down a little tea, butter tea, and some breakfast, and then we're all going to meet out in the center of town. Don't forget your coats and your boots and your mittens and your hats, because where we're walking to, it's going to be quite cold. So you'll notice that as we all gather together, that a little off to the side, there is a wooden walkway that has ropes that are strung on both sides that act as kind of railings. And so we're going to step up onto this walkway, and we're going to begin our journey. As we walk, we can look at this beautiful little village and the villagers who are waving to us. And we look up to the massive mountains that are all around us. These are the youngest mountains in the world and also the tallest mountains in the world. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny and bright. We can see eagles circling above. In Buddhist and Hindu traditions, those eagles are called Garudas. In fact, they even have an airline named Garuda in India. So you can see the eagles flying. And we're chatting, and everyone's excited to be going to see this ancient temple that is so old and so sacred and so full of wisdom. And we're walking along the path, enjoying our conversations. And we're going to do 3 loops around the mountain. The mountain that we're climbing isn't particularly wide, and it's reasonably steep, so we're just going to keep walking. In the beginning, we can keep our jackets open, and we may not even put on our hats or our mittens. We're just going to enjoy the sunlight and breathe in this incredibly fresh, crystalline air. If you look up slightly to the right, you'll see a pair of rainbows, a double rainbow between 2 of the mountains. That's a good omen. And we're all wondering, what are we going to see? Who are we going to meet? What kind of a guide will we get? What kind of answers will we get to our questions? As we walk, we notice that the village is receding and the temperature is starting to drop, and we're starting to get a little bit more wind. It's still not uncomfortable, and it's still not too steep, so we're just going to continue walking and breathing and thinking and chatting. We're halfway around the first loop. We have a good representation of the different parts of the U.S. here. Many of us have been on phone conferences for a year or more in which the others are participating, so it's nice to actually meet each other in spirit. And we notice that it's starting to get a little bit steeper as we come around that last bend of the first loop. It's requiring us to, it's steep enough now that we're going to have to pay a little more attention to it. It's also getting windier and cooler, so you may want to zip up your jacket, find where your hat and gloves are. You can look down and see the village getting smaller and smaller in the distance. It's very hard to find this little valley and to find this temple, so we're very fortunate. But the nice thing is once you've been here, you'll know the energy signature and you can ask to come back anytime you'd like. So as the wind picks up and the steepness of the path increases, we're mostly keeping our own counsel now. Most of us have put our hats and gloves on. We zipped up our coats and tucked in our scarves. And we're partway around the second loop. As we come around and we see the sun in the sky, up around the peaks of the mountains, you can see where the wind has been blowing snow off the tops. It looks like diamonds glittering in the sky as the snow falls through the sunlight. It's a difficult and harsh environment, but it's a very beautiful environment. You look at the way the mountains are folded, the way the sunlight strikes them. There are unique animals and plants that live in these mountains and in these valleys. And now we're beginning the third loop. It's getting much steeper, and so it really requires us to use the rope for handrail, and pretty much keep our own counsel now. Our thoughts are very inward, maybe a little meditative. Maybe we're anticipating what this meeting is going to be like. Continue to walk. The good news, as we get higher up, the loops are smaller. The mountain isn't as wide. So we're most of the way around the third loop. We're coming back around. And now if you look up, straight above us, you see there's a ledge, a very wide ledge, that is actually where the temple is located. It's further back on the ledge. But that's our destination. And now we're coming to the end of the wooden walkway, and you'll notice that from here on out, we're going to be climbing stone steps that literally have been cut into the side of the mountain. And we're walking. The steps are perfectly clear. There's no ice, there's no snow. The brothers and sisters who live in this temple keep it very clean and clear to make it safe for visitors. And as we come up the final stairs, we look ahead and we see an ancient temple that is literally cut into the side of the mountain. It is the mountain, shaped and made manifest. Ahead of us, there's a very large wooden door with huge old iron hinges. And that is our destination. Once we all get to the steps, get to the doorway, we will knock, and the door is opened for us, and we walk in to a large circular room. However, it's only lit by candlelight, and we've been outside in the bright sunlight, so for a moment it takes us, for our eyes to adjust. We don't really see much of this room. But as we walk in and knock the snow off our boots and take our boots off and our coats off, there's a brazier in the center of the room and a warming pot of tea. We're invited to go sit down on the cushions that are around that table and the brazier and the teapot. Pour ourselves some butter tea. Or if you look around the circumference of the room, you'll see that all around the room there are little niches cut into the rock that is the walls. And there is a little butter lamp, a little oil lamp beneath in each of these niches, and there's a statue. And in each of these niches are all the sacred beings who have been worshipped by humans on this planet back through time. So if you're not interested, if you're not thirsty, you are more than welcome to walk around, look at the statues in the niches, perhaps make a small offering. You'll find little bits of incense that you can put by the statues. And we are now waiting for an acolyte to invite us to see the elders. And over to one of the corners on the side wall, we see that there's a tapestry hanging in front of what turns out to be a door and a hallway. And the acolyte in robes is waving to us and inviting us to get up. So we're going to be very quiet. We're going to get up, finish our tea quickly, and we're all going to form a line, and we are going to walk down the hallway. The interesting thing about this hallway is it seems quite long. There are doorways off on the left side and the right side. You'll find that the doors are all different shapes, all different sizes. And as you walk along, just pay attention to which door you are drawn to enter. And so when you enter, there will be an elder, a wise person in there. You're going to go in. You're going to introduce yourself to that elder. You're going to reach into your pocket or your pouch, your satchel, and you're going to find that you're carrying a gift, and you're going to offer that to the elder. And then you're going to sit down, and the elder is going to talk to you. The elder may be quiet at the beginning, and in that case, you are welcome to ask questions. Or the elder may just start talking and telling you about what is in store for you. And again, before you leave, you'll be offered a guide from the elder, and that guide will be with you. It may become a permanent member of your guidance team, or it may be with you just for this year. But that guide is there to help you with what is in store for you, the lessons and the opportunities that are in store for you in the next 12 months. So I'm going to leave you now, and I will let you know when it's 5 minutes before I'm going to bring you back. So enter the room that speaks to you and enjoy your visit with the elder.
Catherine here. I got disconnected. I'm very sorry. I hope I'm back into the group.
Yes, we're still meditating. So if you get a chance, hop back in, and we'll be bringing people back in a few minutes.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that.
And now I'm afraid it's time that everyone has to leave. So please thank your elder. If you haven't given him or her a gift, please make sure you give a gift. Hopefully you have your new guide by now. If not, please ask the elder for your guide. And you're going to get up and go out in the hall, and we're going to meet in the round room with the candlelit niches as soon as you can wrap things up. Now that we're all gathered here, normally you can go ahead and get into your boots and your jackets and all your warm snow gear. Normally we fly home on Garudas, the eagles, and have a beautiful nighttime flight through the skies, and we're able to look at the stars. It's a beautiful flight. But the elders have arranged for a simpler and faster return route tonight. So we notice that there is another acolyte holding open a a tapestry on the opposite side from the one that we came down the hall to visit our elders. And so we're going to walk through there, and it just happens that that tapestry, that hallway, leads to an interdimensional doorway, and as each of us walks through it, we're going to say thank you, and we are going to find ourselves back in our body. And you may want to stretch, you may want to get reacquainted with yourself, and I'll give you another couple of minutes to write down notes, and I will be back with you shortly. Does anyone need some extra time to finish their notes? Or are you all ready to give a brief sharing?
Picking up the stick, Catherine, I'm ready to share. Putting down the stick.
Is there anybody who's not quite ready yet? Let me know, please. Okay, I'm going to assume everybody is ready to go. So I would ask you to, one at a time, pick up the talking stick and just give us a real brief overview of any messages that you received that you feel would be appropriate to share.
This is Veronica, and I pick up the stick. I sat with my elder, and he looked like H.B. Warner, an actor who had been in the film, it was in Shangri-La. He said nothing to me. He just looked at me and smiled. And what he was pushing back at me was, I have the answer. I kept saying, money, I need money. And he just kept thinking, you have the answer, which I do. And I must take the responsibility. I asked for my spirit guide, told a tiger, I just stunned because a tiger is nothing I would ever have thought of. And then I realized it's to awaken the tiger within me, because there will be some fighting for my own integrity this year and my own path. And I need the strength and the focus and the confidence of a tiger. I put down the stick.
This is Diane. I'll pick up the stick. I went on way down the hall and then way down into the earth, into sort of an Egyptian temple, and the guide was in a gold robe, and it was an exchange of love and heart opening, and it was really lovely, and it was nice to travel with all of you. I really appreciated the group support and your guidance, Peggy. So thank you. I'm complete, and I'm putting down the stick.
Oh.
It's Catherine picking up the stick. Thank you for this wonderful virtual journey. It was very enlightening, very spiritually awakening. My helper told me that my destiny is to help people who are in mental distress to release there. And then the word that came through was a language I didn't understand. At first I thought it was demons, but I don't think demons is correct. And I think what I need to do is to reflect on this, go through the interdimensional doorway, relive the journey, and find out exactly what the translation of the word is. So thank you very much. I'm putting down the stick.
this is Peggy. I'll pick up the stick. At one point, I asked my elder, what can light workers do to help the situation on the planet now? And I was told to pray, but to rather than to focus on specific wants and needs, to pray with our emotions rather than words, to hold a strong intention that our species, our planet, our individual selves will complete this transition with the minimum loss of life, that we should see white light flooding everything, and that with focused prayer, it will actually help stabilize things on the planet. Although I was told to recognize the fact that there are many changes that need to be made and that there are many systems that are failing and will need to be replaced. And the elder also suggested that we occasionally remember to pray for the villagers while the members of the temple are taken care of and protected. The villager situation is not as assured. I'm putting down the stick. Ho.
Hi, this is Ken, and I'm picking up that stick. My journey was twofold. The first one was the actual verbiage of what was shared with me by the Master Guide, and that was the idea that there's going to be many people coming forward into my world that is going to be dealing with the difference between reality and what's real in their lives and what is truth. And we're talking about the big T. And then it'll be my journey during this year to help guide people to not get caught up in what is real for this world and real in humanity, but to stay focused on what is the truth and working in and through that. So that was the first part of mine, and the second part was absolutely a fabulous trip down memory lane. Back in the, had to be late 70s, when the Tzaddi Center was in Garden Grove, we used to meet on Fridays fairly often where various people would take an opportunity to do meditations or journeys. We had I want to call it a church service, but it was more of a, after service was more of a not a free-for-all, but a free and open, anything of the occult, any astral traveling, any, could be tarot, it could be psychometry, just any of the mediums that were being studied. And it was like a remembrance in my body just turned all warm and tingly of some of the things that Bishop Amy used to say in why we study and why are all of these various modalities available to us in our spiritual journey, and the idea of where our masters, teachers, and guides set in for our own journey. And at that time I was doing a lot of astral traveling, and it was just such a remembrance. So I really thank you for taking me back into a part of my memory that was so important and so warm and fuzzy. Talk about heart math and the memory of happiness and love that takes part in our lives. And thank you very much. I'm putting down the stick.
Oh, thank you. That was a lovely sharing. So thank you all. That was really beautiful. Before I do the closing, I'd like to ask each of you to check out and give me a one-word description on how you feel as you're leaving the circle tonight. And I'll go first, and I'll say I'm leaving with gratitude.
This is Diane. I'm leaving with gratitude and light. Thank you.
This is Ken, and I'm leaving in my heart space.
Picking up the stick, Catherine, I'm leaving with discovery, putting down the stick.
This is Veronica picking up the stick, and I'm leaving with clarity. I put down the stick.
Well, thank you, all of you, for joining us for this Tzaddi Spirit Gathering teleconference and for sharing your insights. I was given this meditation over 20 years ago, and it's something we do in my community every year, and it's always a powerful and beautiful sharing, and it's always very interesting how two different groups, I did it with my community a few weeks ago, and there's many similarities in what came up in this group and with that one, so I'm grateful for the opportunity. Assuming all the technology worked, this call will be archived as an MP3 at tzaddi.org, tzaddi.org. You'll be able to access it, a recording of this call, until next month's call. To play back the recording, you're going to dial in a slightly different number than you called in tonight to participate in the call. You'll call 712-432, but instead of 0075, which is what you dialed in tonight, you'll dial in 1085. So 712-432-1085. And then you'll use the same passcode we used tonight, which is 990322, and don't forget the pound. So if there's anybody else that you think might benefit and would like to listen to it, or if you'd like to listen to it again and do the meditation again to get more insight, you're more than welcome to do that. The call will be, the recording will be there until our next Tzaddi Spirit Gathering, which will be February 16th. And Reverend Dr. Ken Ficklin, who's been on the call this evening, will present on the topic of The Truth Shall Set You Free. These calls are hosted by Tzaddi, an interspiritual metaphysical organization founded in California in 1964. Tzaddi welcomes, nurtures, and supports people in celebrating and more directly experiencing their relationship with the loving presence of the divine. Our programs are open to people of any race, color, gender identity, sexual preference, or national or ethnic origin. For more information, please see our website, which is, again, www.tzaddi.org, to learn more about our organization and to see a full calendar of events hosted by Tzaddi members. So we'll now close with thanks and a blessing. We'll start by giving thanks for Tzaddi founders Amy Keys and her daughter Dorothy Blackmere. I give thanks to each of you who've been part of our community tonight, and many of you for many, many decades. And last but not least, we give thanks to the divine, who supports us always, even when we're not aware of it. Is there a brother or a sister who would be willing to give a short blessing before we leave? Well, then I thank you for coming tonight, and may your dreams be full of light and additional insight. Thank you so much.